And, so we're doing a new thing and an old thing. So, we do the gospel according to insert name of person here. Some of you have been subjected to this already. And we always ask everybody the same first two questions. We say, what's the good news about Jesus? What's the good news about church? And then I say, what's the good news about thing that you do? Right? So we're going to do that with Lizzie, because everybody's experience of Jesus is interesting and special and wonderful. And we should probably get to know Lizzie a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. You have got bingo grids. Our job is to get Lizzie to say these words in her answers. It doesn't count if I say it or you say it. So we've got to try and work out what questions we can ask to get
I haven't
these.
seen the bingo card.
She doesn't
so
know what's
I
on
don't know.
them.
So
They're not complicated words. We haven't got to get her to say raspberry or Athanasian heresy or anything
Please
like
not.
that. Okay, so have we all got one? Ready? Good. Okay. And we should just get quite a few ticked off by doing this. Here we go. Hello, Lizzie.
Hello.
First question, not a trick question, is, what's the good news about Jesus to you?
So I've had a bit more chance to think, and not much more has come into my head since the first service. So it basically for me is love. I think there's something about, I can see faces. I think there's something really, really absolutely mind-blowing amazing that God, who is love, who is so huge, squashes all that into a baby at Christmas, and as Jesus is just love amongst us, and that we can then go out and share that. So that's the good news for me.
That's really good. And I see that it's really helped some people. I need to know
I
which ones of
wonder
these
why.
I've ticked off. Can somebody get me a pen? Otherwise, this isn't going to work. Thank you very much. You've got a spare one. Very good. Okay. What's the good news about church? It's good that you love Jesus, and yet you keep coming to church and doing it.
It is, yes. I think you find a real community and a sense of family in churches. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know you and finding that out about you. There's something about coming in here and having your batteries recharged, and then everybody going out and being their own bit of salt and light out into Calverley or to wherever we're planted, if you like, as church people. So there's something really wonderful about being able to gather together and be a community and worship God, praise God, say we're sorry together.
This is your first week here.
This is my first week
Apart from
here.
that cheeky visit that we're not allowed to tell people about, where you sneak in the back to see how it's all
Freezing
done.
cold day in January.
Yeah, so she's been here once and she just sat quietly. But you've been at other churches.
I have.
Go ahead, tell us a little about your journey through church and faith over the years.
Well, so I started out going to Sunday school, as many of you are doing now, or may have done. I used to go to Methodist churches and United Reformed churches, and up in Scotland, the Church of Scotland, but not a Church of England until I came and lived in Yorkshire, because I married a Yorkshireman, and you don't get to leave when you do that. And so I worshipped at Pudsey for a couple of years, about 25 years ago, and then went to the church in Burley Morphdale at St Mary's, which is a Church of England, so I'm very much an Anglican now.
You really are.
I really am now. I've
you've got the
one of these
robes.
to prove it.
What took you from all of that, though, to this? I mean, and you already had a cassock before all of this. You've had quite a journey from being someone who likes church and has been in all those different churches, and now you're here. What's the good news in being sat here in a collar next to me? And how did you get here? Is there good news in that?
There's going to be lots of good news in that. The good news, I think, probably, you heard this song, it speaks to me quite a lot. You'll probably notice in time that I find God in the everyday and in music and in all sorts of things. And being part of something that God was wanting me to join into was really quite a wonderful thing. So doing it all on my own was fine, but I got the sense that I was to do something different. And then when you join in, you get to hear all the other bits that you hadn't been listening to before. So I became part of a symphony, if you like, of what God is doing. Oh, I can hear I'm hitting the scores and the bingo. If anyone cries house, it's going to be exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, no, I don't think we should shout house. We should shout church.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll do that. Let me know how this goes. If this is helpful or just an awful idea afterwards, please keep me in the loop. Okay. So you felt called to be part of doing particular stuff.
Yes.
There's lots of people who feel called to be doing stuff at church, though, that's not what you did.
No.
How did that happen?
So I used to be a lay reader. I felt called to doing that after giving a sermon in church, and my knees were knocking. It was the most terrifying thing I ever did, and somebody came up afterwards and said, "You should be a lay reader." I had no idea what one of those was. So I did that for a while. It was wonderful. But at the time when I went to talk to my vicar about that, they said, "Well, why don't you want to be a priest?" And I ran away and hid and said, no, I really don't want to do that. But the feeling doesn't go away. And one day I was taking a funeral, and there's a point in the service where you are blessing people. And if you're a priest, you can say, "May God bless you," and give them a sort of formal Church of England blessing. But if you're not, then you can't. And it felt very wrong not being able to say to these people who are very sad and very miserable because they've just lost someone they loved, that I could bless them. I couldn't do that. And it came from there. And then one day, I was a florist. I had here we go. I was a florist, and I had a business doing wedding flowers. And I looked at what was happening in the year ahead, and there was nothing. And it was a bit unsettling. And I asked James, my husband, what should I do next? And he said, "It's obvious to me what you should be doing. You should be a vicar." So I nearly threw a plate at him. And I went to see the vicar the next day in the church at St Mary's to talk about children's work. And he said, "How's your business going?" And I said, "Really strange. I've been doing it for years, and suddenly there's nothing." And he said, "Oh, you know what you should do? Have you thought about getting ordained and being a vicar?"
I'll give you that one. It's close enough.
And I said, "Have you been talking to James?" And he said, "No." So then the conversation took a slightly different track. And I thought maybe I needed to be obedient and listen and do the thing and explore ordination. So here I am.
Brilliant. All right. I have one or two other questions, but I think it'd be interesting to see if you could ask subtle and appropriate questions that would allow us to explore some of these things. What can we learn about Lizzie that's going to help us tick off the bingo? Amelia's got a question.
Where were you born?
I was born in Beverley.
In where?
In Beverley.
In Beverley.
In Yorkshire, yes.
In Yorkshire. Okay, did that help you?
I suspect that doesn't
not
help
yet.
you.
But
Can I come over this way? Someone else has a question.
This is great. Do you have a pet?
I do. We have a greyhound.
Do you take it for a walk? What do you
take it
use
for-
to take it for a walk?
I take a lead.
Simon finds a
I
way
thought
to
you were going
turn.
for collar, but I was going to try and get it going. Sorry.
Do you have any children?
I have 2 children, and do you want their names? I have a daughter, Isabel, who is 19, and she's going
Church! You've got the
Oh,
lot.
my word, someone's got...
Okay.
Oh.
All right, well, we keep going. No, I want...
Oh,
want
we're not doing proper bingo,
Okay,
we're going
no.
for the whole set.
I haven't got any prizes. So Isabel is...
Isabel is 19, and she's currently at home because I have an awful lot of family staying with me because they've all been at the cathedral yesterday. So she's on breakfast and sending everybody away safely duty. And I have another daughter. You were listening for this one. She's called Ursula. And she's 16, and she's just doing her GCSEs, so she's helping Isabel today. But they'll come and see you at some point.
Anything else? Other questions?
Oh,
James,
questions, right.
Steve's got questions, Rachel's got questions,
Come down this way first.
Joseph's got questions.
What's your job going to be in this church?
My job in this church is going to be as assistant curate.
What is that? What is that? We might not all know that.
It's a bit like being a trainee vicar.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question over this way.
I always thought of it as like having P plates on after you've passed your test, right?
How did
The
you
L
train your
plates
dog?
are off.
How do I?
How did you train your dog?
How did I train my dog? Oh, she's not actually that obedient. I can't say I'm that good at training my dog. We use treats sometimes. We're
What?
trying to get a particular word, maybe.
I think it was training. Was it
Oh,
training?
training. Oh, there.
Training.
That's
No,
training.
not necessarily the area I wanted to explore, but good to know you're on top of that. All right, what else have we got? More hands?
Oh, this one over here, sorry.
Do you ever play tennis?
I have never played... I'm scratching my head for this one. I have never played
I know where you're
tennis.
going. I know where you're going.
I don't know what's on the card.
No, good. More good questions.
No, I
There's not
haven't
can't be that
played
many
tennis.
left. Just wondered.
You mentioned various churches, Church of Scotland, Methodism and so on. Why Church of England?
I like the fact that the Church of England is a presence in every community, and it's for absolutely everyone, and you don't have to be a member to take part. So anyone can walk through that door and ask to be married or baptised or buried and take part in everything without having to sign up. And there's something really wonderful about all churches, but about being a particular church that anybody is just able to come to. So that's why. Hello.
Where did you go after school?
I went to university and I went to theological college. I was being kind, yeah. Oh,
Church, you got the lot.
have you got all of them? Got a
No, we want the
line.
full set.
Oh.
It's got to be doable.
Do I have another question?
Any
All
other
right.
questions here?
You're struggling.
I want to know what. So you're going to be a deacon.
I'm going to be a deacon.
You are a deacon.
I am
Since
a deacon.
yesterday at about
Since
3:30,
yesterday,
you're a deacon.
which is a terrifying
What's a
thought.
deacon?
A deacon is somebody who is like a servant. The word deacon, diakonos, is servant. So I have a servant ministry. And originally, deacons used to be the people who fed people at tables and helped out with that. So hence this table. So it's a servant ministry. And
You can
it
have
will be
you
good.
can have serve. Yeah.
We get serve at tables. There we are. Deacons serve at tables. Where am I? Oh,
Yes.
Amelia has a question.
We've got one over there,
Oh,
and one on the
one
far
at the
side.
back,
We'll
right.
come back to Amelia. She's
All right,
had a go.
We've Amelia had one. I'm
come
going to
back
run
to
with
you.
the microphone like Annika Rice.
What are the three, things in the Trinity?
Oh, right. So, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
What are,
The names of them. Well, Jesus might be the name you might be looking for God's Son. Good on you. Well,
Good
good
job.
question.
Yep. Jesus, very important. You can get. We haven't got many left. These are meant to be some interesting questions.
Lady over here.
I should be able to help if not.
Do you view this as like a job?
No,
Good question.
I don't, but that's a very good question. It's a role, I think, that I'll have to learn to inhabit a bit better. It'll get there. So no, it's not a job, although there is pay for it. It's more a vocation, really. A calling even, yeah. Oh, well done.
Church. Hey, some people have got church.
Love it.
There we go. Very good. Anybody get the last two out of her? We'll see. And then Rachel's got a question and Amelia's got a
Go on
question.
then. I'll come to
What was that saying that Jesus said, I am,
the bread of life,
I am the way?
the truth and the life.
Yay. Brilliant. Anybody make her say the last one?
Who was it I was going to?
Amelia's got a
Was it
question.
somebody over here or Isaac? Where's Isaac? Has Isaac got a question still? No, Isaac's had his question answered. Amelia, sorry. Let's come back.
When you were doing the reading thing,
Yes.
you sounded a bit Scottish.
Yes, because I am Scottish. I come from Scotland. Is that on there?
Have you already got- I think we've had that a couple of times. Very good. Brilliant. You should just about all have them. You might have worship left,
You missed one out.
which I'm going to give you worship for free.
Burley, yes, I see the word Burley's on some of the.
Burley
I
was
live
there,
in Burley
yeah.
and Wharfdale, and I'll be commuting to Calverley,
We had that.
which will be an interesting experience, but once I get past the traffic, it'll be fine.
And Lizzie is here to help us, amongst other things, in our worship. That's one of the things we can do. That's one of your bits there. And it's peculiar what worship is. Any time that you spend time thinking about God and what he's doing and all of that. So even playing bingo in church, weirdly, is worship. I'm going to ask James this question that we had earlier. But somebody asked, a really good question was, what's Lizzie's superpower? In all of this job that's coming up, James, could you tell, you had a really good answer to this.
Oh, I've got to remember what I said earlier. I'm rubbish with microphones as well. Can people hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. So Rob put me on the spot with this earlier, but I said that Lizzie's really creative. And she's also really good fun as well, actually. I think you'll like her. But she's really creative. Everyone says she's really creative. And if you give her a bit of space to do imaginative things, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think she'll do really interesting things.
Thank you very much. I didn't think I could get Lizzie to say that about herself, so thank you for joining in with that. And the last thing, what are you hoping at the moment? And we've got 3 to 4 years and lots to work out and explore and do, and I think we're all excited and delighted. But have you, at the heart of it, what's your hope for this journey?
I think, firstly, getting to know everybody here, and then mainly going out into Calverley and seeing what everyone there and what God's doing outside this building that can bring people into this building. I want to see what's happening in the community and how the community can come in here and feel that welcome. And the reading was talking about, it says receives, but the translation I had used the word welcome, about welcoming people. And whoever welcomes one of us is welcoming Jesus, so that's really lovely.
Well, that's a nice place to end. After this, in the first bit, you got to read out your big, complicated license, and we're not going to do that again. But as part of our welcome, and you should know that this is from the whole church, so including the people who came to the first service, we have 3 things, 4 things, many things.
One of them sounds jingly. One of them sounds like it might be a set of keys.
So here you go. So,
oh my goodness.
So we have a basket of many things.
Oh, thank you.
There we go. Hold those. Thank you very much. It's rather heavy. We have a voucher for the pub.
Hey!
I was
This
assured.
is where commuting might involve a taxi.
There's a big card that I think just about everybody has signed.
Oh, thank you all so much.
And this is the bit that this is what I got when I joined here, and this is the bit that pleased me the most. All of these things are great, but the thing that pleased me even more than voucher for the pub, these are the keys, and Brenda has put the label for each one of the keys on it, so you know what they
Brenda?
open.
She's a superstar. Wonderful.
So these are for you, ladies and gentlemen, the Reverend Lizzie Reynolds. Brilliant. Who won bingo? Who thought they got house? Who shouted church?
I think pretty much
Oh,
everybody did.
Well done.
Thank
You're all
you
winners.
very much.
Thank you very much. Lizzie, have a
Thank you.
seat.
Oh, my word.